Today's daf is Masechtas Nazir Daf Lamavav. We're at the bottom of Lamed Hey Beis. The fourth to last line, the last word on the line is Amar Rebavo. So, just to recap here, the Mishnah Lamed Daled and Beis said that Rabbi Kiva says, "Afilu shara pitoi b'yayim yesh b'kadil tzarf kazayis chayev." Rabbi Kiva said that even if a Nazir was also to drink wine, he took his bread and he soaked it in a cup of wine. So let's say there's a sheer kazayis, he has to drink kazayis. Let's say there wasn't a kazayis of wine. There was only a half a kazayis. But his bread was another half a kazayis. So Rabbi Kiva says a chiddush. Rabbi Kiva says that the half a kazayis of bread and the half a kazayis of wine is a mitzaref to a isser for a nazir. So besides that, Rabbi Kiva argues whether the shear is a kazayis or revius, also machlekes the Mishnah. He also argues when he gave the din of heter is mistarf le'isser. Exactly, the pitoi, the bread is taka heter, but it's mistarf le'isser. That's halacha. So the Gemara is going to declare now. This Gemara is this din that heter mistarf le'isser. Is it only by nazir, or is it by all yisurim and Torah? So Zak Gemara, Amar Bavo, Amar Rabbi Yochanan Bavo said in the name of Yochanan, Kol Yisurim Shabbatayra. The din, all the other Yisurim in Torah, the din is ein heter mitzaref le'isser. Davar hamutter is not mitzaref or davar aser to be mashal mitzir. For instance, if somebody eats a kazayis chelev, so it's aser, right? So if he eats a half a zayis chelev together with a half a zayis basar of heter, you're not chayav malchus. It has to be a whole kazayis of chelev. Chutz mi'isurin nazir zakti Gemara. Besides, if somebody eats a chatizayis of grapes and a chatizayis of bread together, yichayev. That's Rabbi Kiva in the Mishnah. Why? Where do you learn out from? Shaharei Amra Torah. The Torah says in the parasha of Nazir, Midur Parak Vav Pasuk Beis, V'chol Mishras Anavim Lo Yishta. It says a lashon of Mishras. That's a lashon of like taking his bread and soaking it in yayin. So you learn out. So we learn out from that pasuk that it's talking about when Nazir soaks his bread in yayin, then that's when the Torah is telling us bichayev, even though there's not enough yayin, it's only to bitzira of the heter of the bread. Why? Because if you say the pasuk's talking about that he soaked his bread in the kazayis of yayin, then what's the chiddush of the pasuk? Why did the Torah have to tell you it's aser? Of course it's aser. He has a kazayis of wine there. Al karcha has to be. Al karcha, the chiddush of the pasuk is coming to tell you when there's not enough shear in the yayin of neyatzmai, and the pas is only being mashal mitzvah shear kazayis. Azay Zakar Ravo Rabbi Yochanan. Zakar Gemara Vayter Zeiri Amar. Zeiri says that it's not only by nazir it's a chadash din that had to be tarfel af sa'ur beval taktiru. Also by the din of sa'ur, which is asar and bal taktiru on the beach. So over there also we say that heter is tarfel eser, and if somebody is makdir a chatizayis of sa'ur and a chatizayis of matzah together with it, it's mitzaref and he gets malchus. So the Iri is saying, so what's Allah with the Isser of Sa'ar? So the Isser, the Makram is Be'ech Sa'ar. What's Sa'ar? Sa'ar is the shmarim that ferment a dough. That's what makes a dough rise and ferment. So the Rambam says in Pershim Mishnah Be'ah Perak Aleph Mishnah Aleph, and like the pasuk says in Vayikra Perak Beis pasuk Yud Aleph, Kichol Sa'ar B'chol Davash, Lo Saktiru Mimenu Isha L'Hashem. And what's the shear to get malchus on the Isser? Mimakam is be'echas kazayis. Okay, so Ram Misur Mizbeach Parakep Halacha Aleph. It says the Isser B'cholshu. Ayin Sham Kesef Mishnah Lechem Mishnah. So Frekti Gemara Keman. Who's this Zeiri, the Shita Zeiri going like that? You say by Sa'ar Hetiv Zarva Isser. The Gemara Kabbalah is going like Kabbalah. The Darish Kol. He darshans the word Kol. It says in the pasuk. Chol sa'ur v'chol davash. So he darshans the heter is mitzdaref le'isser by Torah sar. In fact, the Gemara hachi leinin chametz by Pesach. Why didn't Zeiri also say that heter is mitzdaref le'isser? Because by chametz by Pesach it says that Shemois parak beis pasuk chaf kol machmetzes lo yisecheli. You should not eat any chametz. It says kol. So Rabbi Elazar darshans from the word kol that heter is mitzdaref le'isser. Maybe you should also say so by the Isser Chametz and Pesach. And for the Gemara, Ein Chanami. Taka right, the Iri Taka holds also by the Din Chametz and Pesach that had to mitzvah for Isser. So why do you only chapa on Haktar Sa'ar? to give as an example, heter mitzarfle. So lafuke me Abaya, it's coming lafuke shitas Abaya, the Omar, yesh aktara pachas mekazayis. So Abaya holds that you could have aktara with less than a kazayis, and according to shitas Abaya, if you makter chati zayis or atzma on the mizbeach, you do get malchus even if there's nothing mixed in. Kamashim Lonzir is coming to tell you, no, ain't aktara pachas zayis. That there is no aktara pachas zayis. It's only if you have a heter mitzaref la'isser, then it's mitzaref that chati zayis tashir zayis, and that's the only time that there's the isser malchus, and that's why Zeiri specifically chapped on that case of sa'ar. But avadi he holds also by chametz tzaka din heter mitzaref la'isser also. So now the Gemara is going to go back on Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan was the one that said before that kol yisurim in the Torah, Shabbat Torah, you do not say heter mitzaref. So that was the first sheet the Gemara wrote down on Amud Aleph. It's machlekes Rabbi Yochanan and Zeiri. Besides for Nazir, Rabbi Yochanan says besides for Nazir. Frek the Gemara on Rabbi Yochanan now. Yosef Rav Dimi, he sat down. And he said over this memra of Rabbi Yochanan that kol yisurim shabbat Torah heter is not mitzaref besides for Nazir. So Eisvei Abaya. So Abaya, when Rav Dimi said over these words, Abaya asked him. He said, the Mishnah says in Teful Yoim Perek Beis Mishnah Gimel, Hamikba. If you have a thick tafshel like daisa, which is I think oats, shal truma. So if you have mikbal shal truma, v'hashum and garlic, v'hashemen, that shalchulin. So if you have a tafshel that's a truma, which you're not allowed to eat, obviously, and it's there to eat, v'hashum, v'hashem, and shalchulin, and you have the shum, the garlic, and the oil that's mixed into it is chulin, and it's not nicker. You don't see the oil; it's mixed in well. The naga tful yoim miktasan, and in the tful yoim touched a little bit of this tafshel. So what's that halacha? Zak the Mishnah tful yoim perak beis Mishnah Gimel. Pasal skulin, it passes the whole tafshel. Why? Because the main thing is the mikvah. That's the main thing, which is truma. And all those side things, the oil and everything is mixed in. That's a tuffle to the whole dish. So therefore, he passes the entire thing if a tfilyon touches it. But mikvah shechulin, what happens was the opposite. The main thing, let's say the oats, the daisa, that was chulin. And there was a little oil and some stuff, some garlic mixed in, that was truma. So roiv of the dish is really the mikvah. That's that's the main thing, right? Everything else is just mixed in. It's a tuffle. So the roiv is chulin and the meat is truma. The nagat tfilyon miktas and the tfilyon touched a little bit of it. The halacha is he only passes the area that he touched, but the rest of the whole bowl of mikvah, whatever he has over there, is not pasul. So frakti Gemara, b'havinam ba. They were declaring in yeshiva on this Mishnah, and they asked, "Mikoy magoy, am I apostle? How come if he touched this little area, if the mikvah was chulin, why is it apostle? L'chari the shum and the shem of truma is batal and the roiv mikvah, which is chulin. So even the area that it touched, why is that apostle? L'chari the miyat is truma, so it should be batal. So why even that little area where the guy touched with his finger, I told you, and that shouldn't be apostle. Why is that apostle? He said, why is the makoy magai apostle, the area that he touched? He said, hoyel bazar loika aleh b'kazayis, because since our zar that eats a kazayis from the mikveh b'chayim malchus, the din of zar sha'achal truma, the din is that a zar that eats a kazayis, truma gets malchus. And why? Because minat Torah, truma is not batal b'roiv. So even though the mikveh is chulin, but still a zar that eats a full kazayis, if it gets malchus. So since there's a shame truma on the mikveh l'gabe chiyuv malchus for a zar that eats it, so meila l'gabe tuma, it also has a shame truma. So therefore, he passes a tful yoim. If he touches it, that area his finger touches, we say that it becomes pasul. Zak the Gemara, my time. What's the reason Rabbi Yochanan that says a zar she'achal kazayis from the mikveh gets malchus? That's a lav of zaras. L'chayra, he didn't need a kazayis of truma because the truma is only a part of it. Only the oil and the garlic in it is a kazayis. So how come it's gavaldik kasha? In this case, with a mikvah, let's say you have a big bowl of oatmeal. That's the mikvah, right? The daisa, and that's chulin. And the oil, only the oil and the garlic, the spices that's mixed into it is truma. So halacha is if a zar eats a kazayis shear of that from that bowl, he's chayim malchus. al tzazaras, because he's a zar eating truma. Why? There isn't a kazayis of truma.
It could be you hold that makes the.
So that's a very good shaila. So the chayya didn't need a kazayis of truma. Why? Because it's only a miyat of the mikvah. And you see it's still enough to get malchus. Says Zok the Gemara lav mishum the heter b'tzarf le'isser. Oh, takamuzayim, because the heter is b'tzarf le'isser. The heter of chulin, which is a mikvah, is starved to the isser of shemen and shum. And that's why you get malchus when you eat a kazayis, combine the both of them. It says buchach from here, Zok the Gemara, the heter is b'tzarf le'isser. Even in other Yisurim Matayra, not just by Nazir. This case is not a case of Nazir. Nagat full yoim. We're talking about Truma. This is a Shari Yisurim Matayra. So you see clearly, like Zeiri, that even B'Shari Yisurim Shabbatayra, it's a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said all Yisurim Shabbatayra, heter is not mitzaref l'isser. It's only a din of halacha and Nazir. Shmaka kasha. Zak the Gemara, Amar lei, so Rav Dimi told Abaye back, loy, my kazayis, what's this that we said Zar's like if he eats a shear kazayis from his mikvah? It's talking about the ikka kazayis b'chtei achilas pras. It's talking about that they have in this tafshol, in this whole dish, enough truma that if he eats a kazayis, a full kazayis from the truma, in a shear of K'dei Achilas Pras, which is a shear of 4 beitzim, it's a shayla. And the halacha is that if he waits Achilas Kazayis Isser, and there wasn't from the beginning of the Achila until the end a shear of Achilas Pras, and it's as if he ate the whole Kazayis of Asachas, so he gets Malchus. So he's eating a shear, Dr. Gemara is talking about he's eating a shear of K'dei Achilas Pras. I mean, he's eating, let's say it's a shayla, it's 9 minutes, 11 minutes. So let's say he's eating 9 minutes out of this bowl. So you know if he eats 9 minutes out of this bowl, so even if the first minute is a tiny bit of kazayis and the last minute he has the rest of the kazayis, it's b'starf, as long as b'chtei, that zman of achilas pras, the whole entire achilas is b'starf to one kazayis, and he taka have a full kazayis in it. So the Gemara is saying it's not a raya het b'starf l'isser. It's talking about he's eating the achilas pras, and the taka is a full kazayis of isser along that shear, that zman of 9 minutes, 11 minutes, whatever it is. Zok the Gemara, Sabaya is continuing to ask Rav Dimi, V'achilas pras dairaisahi? Is the eating kazayas of a meichel, of food, in this shear zman of pras, is that dairaisa, that it's starf, it's considered one achila, that you want to tell me you get malchus, and that's the case in the Mishnah Tefillah Yoyim? Amar lei in, Rav Dimi told me, yeah. Eating something K'dei Achilas Pras, that's taka dairaisa. And the chayr is just what we find, like chiv eating matzah, Pesach night, right? Some starf k'dayis, we eat k'dayis K'dei Achilas Pras. Zok the Gemara, Sofrek Abaye Vayter, Yehochi, if it's taka true that Minatayra, the shear of Achilas Pras and starf k'dayis, Amai pliga Rabbanon alei. So what's shot the Rabbanon argue on halacha of this Mishnah? Amai pliga Rabbanon alei dur belazar. Kuta chabavli. How come a kuta chabavli? If you eat it on Pesach, you like it because it's taruvas chametz, and according to Rabbanon, you don't get malchus. L'chayra, you should also get malchus because you have a kazayis chametz mixed in, and even if you don't eat it vasachas, l'chayra, you eat them in the shear k'dei achilas pras. Like this Mishnah in Tefillah Yom, you should get malchus. So what's Pshat Rabbanan arguing on this halacha? Why would they argue? Zok the Gemara. So Rav Dimi told Abaye, Amar lei, Hanach lekuta chabavli. Leave the case of kuta chabavli alone and don't ask for it. Why? The leka kazayis b'chtei achilas pras, because it doesn't have enough chametz mixed into it that you'll say that that if someone eats a kazayis b'chtei achilas pras, somebody eats a shear of achilas pras, that there'll be enough chametz to add it to kazayis. Why? Because manav shach. Either kasarf le misraf. If it's talking about he chewed it as is. L'chayr batalaita it's kol adam. So it's not normal. It's like kudah chabav is like sharp. Has like a sharp. You can't eat it quick because it burns. So the chayr is batal daite, it's kol adam because it's not normal to chew it so quick because it's sharp. So it's not the derech achila to mechayev in it, so you wouldn't be chayev malchus anyway. The mishtar kashatar, and if you dipped it into something to take away the sharpness, and then you had a kazayis, lemishkachas kazayis chilas pras. That it wouldn't be shaykh to have that you ate a kazayis chilas pras. Meaning, if you dipped in whatever you're eating to the kuta chabavli, it seems like it's like a burny dip, like a spicy dip. So the Gemara is asking, it's not shaykh to have a kazayis if you're just using it as a dip. It's not mitzvah to kazayis. You can't have enough that it be mitzvah to kazayis to chilas pras. So that's why Rav Dimi told Abaye, Hanach l'kuta chabavli. It's different over there because it's questionable if there's a kazayis actually mixed in with chametz. So Frek Abaye Nochashala Eisvei, Abaye asked Rav Dimi another question. We learned in the Brisa. The Brisa says, Shetei medoichos. If you have two kalim that you the purpose of using them is that you crush spices in them, and you had spices in both of them. Achas shel truma, v'achas shel chulin. One of them had truma ingredients in it, whatever it was, and one of them had chulin. Ulafanav shtei kederis. In front of the two meduchos, in front of these two kalim, you had two kederis with tafshilim in it, two pots. Achas shel truma, v'achas shel chulin. V'nachlu elisech elu, and they both fell into each other, and you don't know what fell into what. So again, you have two kalim. One has truma spices in it, and one has chulin spices. Then you have two pots, and one is truma pot, one's a chulin pot, and both of the.
What's matuchis?
Matuchis is kalim that you crush spices in them. So one of them is truma, one of them is chulin, and they fell into two kederis, one's chulin, one's truma, but you don't know what fell into what. So if you don't know what fell into what, what's the halacha? Shtei and mutaris, both of the pots are mutter. And you say that kederis truma is mutter for kohanim, and the kederis chulin is mutter even for zarim. Why? Shani Aimer, because we're toil lahakol and we say chulin say chulin naflu, truma say truma naflu. We say the chulin found the chulin, and truma found the truma. So frak the gemara v'yisal kadaitach. If you want to tell me that kazayis chdei chilas pras da'iraisa, that the shir of kazayis it could be mitzdarf and a shir of achilas pras, and it's a din da'iraisa that it's mitzdarf and it's nechshav one achila amai amrina and shani Aimer. Then why do you say that chulin say chulin naflu and truma say truma naflu, and you makel by Issa Torah, which has a einish misa? L'chayr, if it's yedua b'vadai that tavlin of truma fell in the tafshel chulin, then a zar that eats it, a taruvis, is chayim misa. If he eats a kazayis of truma chdei chilas pras, so how can you be? What's pshat? We say that you can makel and the suffix and be toilet the chulin fell in say chulin. L'chayr, maybe the guy's eating a shir chdei chilas pras, and he's going to be starved to kazayis, and it's deraisa. So what's taka? Why do we say that we'll make in this case? So the Gemara is bringing. So the Gemara wants to say that if you tell me bishlam, if you tell me that it's a derabanan, that's starved to chilas pras, it's only derabanan, it's not min deraisa. So that's what I understand over here. That you could say in this case chulin naflu and we'll makel because it's only a shayla it's a derabanan. So then it makes sense. But if you say da'iraisa, then what's pshat? So Rav Dimi was trying to matcha Abaye's kasha, and he said, Elamai, according to you that you want to say da'ikzayif de'achilas pras mistarv, and it's not minat Torah. So Eibezai, the reason why Azar is like by mikvah of chulin that has shum and shem of truma, like we said before in the case of Tfol Yom, is why? It's because it had to mitzaref le'isr. So if it's not Dr. of Dimin Ta'abayan, then what's pshat in the case of Tfol Yom? If it's not the Chilas Pras and it's Din Da'iraisa, then what's pshat in the mission Tfol Yom? Why Yechayev? Why do you get Malchus? Muzayin, because I had to mitzaref le'isr. So Eibizoi, Dr. of Dimin Ta'abaya, according to you, Amayim Rin and Shani Omer, then Eibizoi in this case over here by Meduchos. Why do you say chulin naflu and truma say truma naflu? According to you, if you know for sure that truma fell into chulin, then a zar should be chayiv misa because had to mitzaref le'isr. So Marashach, if you want to tell me that it's not al Kedei Achilas Pras, Muzayin it's Heter Mitzaref LeIsser. So in this case, the Chari have Heter Mitzaref LeIsser. So how can you make all? What's Pshat Meduches? You make all. You should say that. You should say the Chari it's irregular Isser Deraisa. It's Heter Mitzaref LeIsser. How can you make all suffix Esser Torah? So therefore, Rav Dima was telling Abaya that say according to me that I hold that's al Shir Kedei Achilas Pras Mitzaref Deraisa. And say according to you that says that al Heter Mitzaref LeIsser. Hanach letrumas tavlin, don't ask from the case of trumas tavlin, because a marav shach is going to be shver. You can't ask me from this Mishnah. According to me, it's going to be shver. That why we make all shir is the din deraisa. And according to you, it's going to be shver the charetz. You have Heter Mitzaref LeIsser. So he's saying, don't ask from this Mishnah. Hanach letrumas tavlin, and don't ask from it. Why? D'Rabbanan he. Minatayra about it's not truma, because there's no chiv truma only. Minatayra only by dagan tirish v'yitzar. Like the pasuk says in Devar and Parak Ches pasuk dal, reishas tigan chatiresh chavitzarecha tidan lay. So he's saying, so Rav Dima is trying to tell him that the case of meducha is b'chlal. It's not an isser truma deraisa. That's why we'll make all, because the whole isser truma deraisa is only by dagan tirish v'yitzar, and over here it's not dagan tirish v'yitzar.